Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Thank you all so much for checking in. You know, I have done some holiday-themed videos in the past, and I'll try to decorate a little bit here and there. You know, I'll try to really, as they say, channel the holiday spirit. I think this one speaks for itself. There are those times where I might put up some decorations, you know, try to give everything a sort of holiday feel. This one, I mean, it speaks for itself. You could see the snow just falling behind me. I am in the midst of a blizzard right now. It's cold, but I still have a little bit of a bubble of warmth, so the food still stays warm, for anyone wondering. But you could obviously see I am in the midst of a massive snowstorm right now. I'm bundled up. I put on a suit just for this to conserve my warmth. And again, just the snow is really coming down right now. You could see reindeer galloping right over there in the background. And obviously, around this time of year, I'd say that the stereotypical holiday food is stuffed crust pizza from Papa John's. And wouldn't you know, like magic, that's exactly what I'm trying out in today's review. Papa John's, for a limited time, has just released their new cheesy calzone stuffed crust pizza. And it's available right now for Papa Rewards members. However, in just a few days' time, it will be available to the masses. So, if this winds up being, of course, an item that interests you, here's the thing. It's easy to get. It's not like, you know, all these sorts of places will make it sound like, oh, you have to be part of some sort of super elite, exclusive, secret society in order to actually even get the pizza early. That really isn't the case for Papa John's. In order to be a Papa Rewards member, all you have to do is make an account on the website. It takes 5 minutes, and then you're good to go. So it's a very easy process if you want to get it early. But after December 26th, then anyone can get it. But it's a real easy process if you want to get it early. And here's what it is. Again, it is called their Cheesy Calzone Stuffed Crust Pizza. And I understand there's a lot of layers to that title, so it might be difficult to discern what exactly it is. So first and foremost, you have a regular pizza. It's just a regular hand-tossed pizza. It could have any topping that you would like on it. And then, of course, as is the case so often here, the crust. That's where all the action is. That's where everything happens. And this is a stuffed crust pizza. Now, Papa John's has done the stuffed crust pizzas before. They've actually, I think, have recently been really emphasizing this. I believe the last Papa John's item that I reviewed was actually a special garlic stuffed crust pizza. So this time around, they say, this is going to be like a combination of a calzone inside the crust of the pizza. So it's going to be cheesy, and they formally described it as having a stuffed crust with a garlic herb ricotta style cheese blend. So it's obviously supposed to be garlicky with a little bit of that cheese in it as well. And supposed to have those calzone-esque characteristics as well. It comes with garlic sauce to dip the pizza in, and it is available at the price of $15 for a large pizza. So essentially, I've seen some people describe this as Papa John's is attempting to do what Little Caesars usually does, but make it edible this time around. We will see, of course. And, yeah, the calzone stuffed crust pizza. And again, it was available from the 18th for everyone who's part of the rewards program. It's available from the 26th of December onward for everyone else, $15. But again, if it ends up being very good and you want to get it early, you easily can. Alright, so, just going to try it out, and we will see. Team Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. And a very holiday-themed box, as you could see as well. special pizza in the hexagon right there. I went with pepperoni. That's, you know, the standard topping, of course. And, you know, from a glance, it looks pretty standard. Complete pepperoni pizza. The crust does look a little fluffy or puffier, doesn't it? And that's because it is, because there's the cheesy, garlicky blend therein. And of course, special garlic, not just regular garlic. And then this, you put it on your, you could like hang this up. A lot of people will put this on the back of their car, believe it or not. Very symbolic. And let's get a good slice. How about this one right here? Actually, you'll have to excuse me for a moment because the pizza isn't cut all the way. And I'm sure if you've gotten these sorts of pizzas enough, you've easily seen this before. I have to run in real quick, get a pizza cutter, so I'll be right back, because otherwise it's just ripping, so. Alright, now back into it. Finally got this cut. I always hate when these places do this, but it happens so often when they don't cut it properly. There's the crust. And I'm going to try it out now. First, I'll just sample the pizza, see if there's anything remarkable about that, and then I'll try out the crust. So, the cheesy calzone stuffed crust pizza from Papa John's, it's going in. So far, the pizza is exactly as it usually is. This is very standard Papa John's pizza. I'm not going to focus on it overwhelmingly so because there's really no reason. The pizza is typical. Hand-tossed, has a nice little bake to the bottom. It's greasy, it's oily. It's your standard fast food takeout pizza. The pepperoni has a little bit of spice to it, but also a little bit of salty greasiness likewise. But again, the sauce is still robust. Cheese tastes fresh. No issues there at all. It's a very standard fare as far as Papa John's pizza is concerned. Perfectly acceptable. I'll take one more bite. And then get into the crust, which is where all the excitement is going to be. The one thing, and this might just be in my case, I just noticed this. You see on the bottom, you could easily see how this was made, how there's the overlap with the dough right there. Just something interesting I noticed. A little bit of floppiness in that regard, but not to the point where it's necessarily detrimental. It doesn't seem as though it's necessarily undercooked, like it was with the one Little Caesars pizza. So anyway, now I'm going to try out the crust. So now as I get into the crust, and I'll show you, it looks like your typical stuffed crust, right? You could see the cavern in there. So what I notice, I am pleased to say that I'm happy with it. I wasn't sure what to really expect because there are so many establishments these days that will occasionally try to emphasize various calzone-esque characteristics, and each place does it differently, and some of them are better than others. In this case, when I heard the name, now I could easily make the connection between calzone. As I eat this, though, am I necessarily thinking, oh, yeah, this is exactly like a cheesy calzone in the crust? Not necessarily, but it is different. To the extent that, number one, as far as the consistency of the cheesy blend in the crust is concerned, even though it's of course solid and, you know, it looks pretty much as it would for any sort of stuffed crust pizza, it does have this sort of creamy texture to it. Not overwhelmingly. Not to the extent that it's like, you know, dripping out and all of that, but there's just obviously, there's that textural difference, that's what I'm trying to say, and you could easily notice that when you bite in. Secondly, it's cheesy, but I can most definitely make out the ricotta cheese in the crust. It has a very different cheesy flavor compared to the rest of the pizza. So you could definitely taste the difference between the cheesy blend in the crust and then again what is on the rest of the pizza. So you could definitely notice that difference right away. And third, there is this very, what I would describe as being like this very, not necessarily robust, but definitely this very, I guess robust would be the right word for it, I suppose, garlic flavor. It's very potent. I guess that's the better word that I'm trying to say. And it's not so much a flavor of like a garlic salt sprinkled atop the crust or anything like that, but rather it's this sort of, not like raw garlic, but it's closer to that than it would be to like a garlic salt at that. The garlic is very clearly embedded within the cheesy blend in the crust itself, and it's like a very rich garlic. That's the word that I was really looking for. Very rich. But it's not to the point where it's overwhelming. It's not to the point where it's like it's too much or anything. It actually works quite nicely, I feel, with the cheese, and it prevents things from just being too, I guess, too monotonous, just too cheesy or too greasy or any of that. It adds a nice little contrast, and I'm a fan of that. So, I think it's good for what it is. Seems to be of decent quality. It tastes good. You know, thematically speaking, you might look at this and you might think, does this really seem like a calzone to me? And I might not necessarily say so, but could it easily be distinguished between the crust and everything else on the pizza, and this sort of crust to a regular stuffed crust pizza from Papa John's? Indeed it can. You know, so it's not like, oh, this is just their same old stuffed crust pizza repackaged and given a new name. There definitely is that difference there that I can notice. Yeah, and the pizza is just typical, you know, your standard fare. You know, I guess what I'll do, why not? I could actually just rip the crust off. Now, I'm not sure if you could do that with yours, if you get this, or if this is just how they made mine. If you could rip the whole crust off, heck, that might be preferable for some. And I'll just try it out real quick with the garlic. But overall, it's not bad. I'm fine with it. Yeah, the garlic dipping sauce isn't bad either. I wouldn't say it's necessary for this because there's already that garlic in the crust, but it comes along with it, and even that doesn't make things overboard at all. So it's $15 for the pizza, but I would say compared to other stuffed crust pizzas, it has its own unique flavor, and it's pleasantly done as well. It definitely is on the cheesier side, but it's easy to eat. There's nice garlic notes as well. Yeah, I'm a fan of it. I haven't any problems, any issues with it. I'd say it's of decent quality for what it is, and it tastes good at that. $15, I would say a reasonable price, all things concerned, at this point in time. So therefore, out of 10, I am going to give the Papa John's Cheesy Calzone Stuffed Crust Pizza. I think all things considered, it's pretty good for what it is, so I'm going to give it an 8.35 out of 10. So if you want to get it while the getting's good. And again, it's going to be a limited time release. And with that, I know we're getting close to the holiday season, and I just wanted to take this last minute just to wish everyone out there watching this review right now a very Merry Christmas, very happy holidays as well. Whatever it is that you celebrate, hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I know it can be quite stressful, quite overwhelming sometimes, but hope everything goes smoothly on your end. And really, I just wanted to wish each and every one of you the very best, and I want to thank you all, no matter how long you've been watching this for, whether you've been with this channel for years or if this is the first video you're watching. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for sticking with the Report of the Week for all these years, and for being here for all these reviews. It's really appreciated. Thank you all so much. And that's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.